Hey guys, first of all, thank you very much for coming over here. My name is Harshal and I'm going to show it to you how a left looking image, which is before image, an image that you usually capture through your cell phone, through your camera, doesn't matter what device captures this, it may be your drone or anything, to something that is right looking, which is a bit more edited, a bit more eye catchy. There are quite a few more details visible to your eye. More of like Instagram friendly, because someone is scrolling through their feed and suddenly this image appears, it catches the eye. um, I'm just going to show you some of the tips and tricks how to get the right looking image with free tools that are available right on your phone. And to be honest, it doesn't take much time. So are you ready for it? Let's go. So first thing, these are the apps I use, but mainly out of all these apps, first thing I use is Snapseed. Snapseed is a free app on Android, but it has amazing functions that almost even Photoshop or Lightroom cannot provide you. Well, of course, they do, of course, provide you, but for free and on your fingertips, Snapseed is pretty easy. All right, so let's start. First of all, this image, let me talk about this image. I was going through a trail. This is in Caledon, Ontario, and I shot this picture on a fine evening where all the trees and sunset with like amazing clouds was being reflected on the water, and it was like almost a mirror image of it. Plus, there were some water leaves which kind of give more tone and like moody effect to the whole picture. So, and in the moment, it kind of captured my mood. But when I came home and saw it, it kind of looked dull. And that's how you feel with most of your images too. So let's see how I can get that feel back, what I was feeling on that day on the banks of this lake. All right. So let me start with some of the features that Snapseed can provide. One of them is the styles. Like it has some preset styles and some like are pretty good to start with. Like it kind of sets you in the mood to do some edits. First thing I like is to turn this to portrait. This already gave it a darkish look and a calm feeling to that picture. And that's what I want to start with. So first thing I like doing this because it kind of gives me my base. And this has given me a base. After that, I'm going to turn this to an HDR scape, more on nature, but the strength would be a little bit less, around 10, 11. Yeah, so I want like more details on the leaves to come out, which it did, and we can check it using the before and after effect, and it kind of gives more detail to the trees as well. We can increase it a little bit. There you go. The clouds are giving more information on this, and this kind of looks good to me. So let's tune this image a little bit. I think we can go a little dark, and with saturation we can increase it a bit, maybe like 10, 11. Yeah, this kind of looks good. uh, there are like there's contrast, ambience, highlights that you can use, shadows that you can use, and warmth to increase the warmth that. But in this case, I don't think so we need to use any other things. Highlights kind of make it a bit fakey looking, so I'm not gonna touch the highlights. um, with shadows, I can increase a bit of shadows, but I can do that using curves as well, which I'm going to show it to you as a next step. And warmth, which you can increase, of course, like being warm or cool. We're not going to touch it right now. We will do it, but later, just to give it the final touches. So let's take it 0. And this I just added some brightness and saturation to the image. So let's go to the curves, give it like a soft contrast. So here also in the curves, you can have all the different options, but I like to start with soft contrast. It kind of gives a good feeling. Kind of goes, so you can increase your shadows from here and your highlights from here. So here you can increase your shadows, which I talked to you about in the last thing, and control your highlights from here, right? So I like, usually people say use the S curve, which is more commonly for any of the other pictures. I kind of like to have more details on my shadows, but at the same time to maintain the darkness in the shadows. I like to play with highlights a bit here. And this is the white axis, right? So the more you move your points, you can see the effect what's going on, and it kind of makes it easy for you to decide which way you want to go. So I'll keep it as much as possible. Like, I don't want to change it a lot. This kind of looks good with an S curve. Let's go with some white balances. Increase my white balance. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, so this kind of adds the temperature to it, which I talked to you about warmth, that you can do it from the tools menu as well. This temperature kind of gives a good vibe to it with the golden hour effect. There is another option for tint, but I don't think so we would require that kind of tint over here, because this itself gives a good goldenish looking vibe. Okay. Need more, like, this is selective filter. Selective filter does is like you can select what you want to focus on. I want to darken the clouds, get more clarity on it, which I can do it. Then I can add a filter over here so I can get my shadows out, and you can see that there are more details coming to it. I can increase my structure, saturation a bit. I want the warmth on it to come out, so I'll increase my saturation, and I want a little bit more details on the leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the structure a little bit and a little bit of brightness. You can see the before and after effect, like how I can selectively change the things I want in the picture. Right. Looks good. I want to change a little bit on the other side and add a little bit of saturation. That's okay. This kind of gives me a better effect from my original picture, but still missing a little bit, which we will of course move on to Lightroom to show it to you how we can add final minute touches which will enhance this picture. All right, you can go export and save it, and it will be saved in your folder. There you go. It will be saved over here. All right, so in order to go next step, we will go to Lightroom, and either you can add it from here, or what you can do is wherever you have saved that picture from Snapseed or wherever, you can increase it and say go up to Lightroom and add it from there, which I did in this case. This is kind of a neat option because it can help you get to where you want. And this is your Lightroom settings, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Lightroom. It kind of gives a good cool effect with all presets and whatever you want to do with it. So I'm not going to change much over here. I already have done some presets over here, which it got copied over. I'm going to increase my contrast a little bit to like 8, which kind of gives sense. I'm gonna play with highlights. There's another neat option that you can use your double fingers to kind of reduce the light or enhance highlights that you want to bring it in. Um, Shadows, you can utilize shadows, how much you want the shadows in or not. Once you have increased the shadows, um, Lightroom gives you a good option of whites and blacks. This is an option you wouldn't see it in any other editing app, is because, well, I don't know if it's a copyright or not, but it kind of gives a cool control over your image. So if you can see whites, if you increase your whites, it's almost like dreamy looking picture, and decrease it and it's almost like dark. So we want to have a good balance between whites and blacks. So in this picture, I'm going to keep my whites around 2021. uh, Gives me more detail on the shadows and not blast my picture with uh, too much white near the clouds with the sunlight and stuff like that. And blacks, I want to keep the details, but I don't want it to be too dark, that I couldn't see anything. So I'm going to keep this around 2025 mark. That way I can see the details. It's dark enough, it's moody enough, and I can still see what's going on with that. Second option is the color vibrance. Here also you can set your temperature plus or minus. We already did that in Snapseed, so I'm not going to touch that. Going to the color mix, this color, it kind of gives control over what color you want to edit. For example, reds, you can choose your reds, how red you want or not. This one, we don't have much reds over here. It's more of an orangish, which of course has a different take on it. I'll take that orange, add a bit of saturation, luminance towards it, because if I decrease the luminance, like, you can see that effect. You don't want it too much, but you want to increase it from what it is right now. Once we have that, you can go to yellows. You can increase the saturation a bit, because of course it's in sunset mood and you want the yellows to show. Luminance, you can either decrease it, but it kind of looks fake. So I'm going to increase it a little bit, but not too much that it blows out of proportion. Okay, after we have done that, we can go to greens. That kind of gives the trees whatever color we want. There's the luminance it shows. If you go too much, it fakes those trees, so I'm going to reduce a little bit. Saturation also, I think we can go a little less saturation on the trees, because of course, like, it's not the main focus of our picture. With the blues, all I can see the blues is on the top right of the sky. I'm going to increase it a little bit in saturation, and it kind of fits the thing, so I'm not going to touch it. We don't have any purples or violets, so I'm not touching any of it. Right, so once you're done, you can done it. You can increase, like, this is the vibrance. I think this is a cool vibrant shot, and we can add some vibrance to it. I don't think so we need to add any saturation. We can go in the effects, and to be honest, like, it's pretty clear picture. We don't need to have any effects, like we don't have to add haziness or anything or decrease the haziness. So I'm not going to touch any of the effects right now. Oops. Yeah, it's sometimes hard to get that zero. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. Sharpening, we can increase sharpening a little bit if we need it. And yeah, I don't think so. I don't see any noise over here. We don't need to do any of that. Apart from that, it's looking good to me. So you can come back and see, like, this was your image from Snapseed, and this is what it is right now, right? I do see some fakeness in the cloud, so I'm going to decrease my sharpness again, because it kind of gives a fake effect. Anyways, This kind of looks good to me now. It has, this is original. This is the Snapseed, Lightroom update to it. I'm still not happy with the way trees are looking, so I'm going to update it. Oh, there you go. This is nice. Uh, Anyways, now you can compare. This is the picture from Snapseed. This is what we got to it. I know some people would say Snapseed was better, but I like to have a little bit of Lightroom effects to my pictures. It kind of gives it a good impact, or like a final touch to those things. Uh, I'm happy with this picture. I can use this, and either I can save it to my device or I export it or whatever it is. You can add your watermark options if you feel like it. You can customize your watermark or whatever you want to do it. You can use that. Okay, apart from that, do let me know in the comments if you have any questions regarding this. If you need any more tutorials, if you want any suggestions, feel free to write down in the comments, and feel free to and share this video as much as possible. Thank you, and have a good day, good night, wherever you are. Thank you. Bye.